The Galactic Council had always viewed humans as curiosity's primitive creatures, who'd barely scraped their way into the stars. They were tolerated, studied, sometimes pitied, but never truly respected. That was before Felix Martinez walked into the council chambers on Kepler 4 to be, holding the hand of a woman whose skin shimmered like polished obsidian beneath twin suns. Evelyn wasn't human. She was Vathara, a species known across 17 star systems for their unbreakable bonds. When a Vathara chose a mate, it was for life, a neurological connection so profound that the death of one partner often meant the slow decline of the other. The galaxy had watched in somber silence 3 cycles ago when Evelyn's husband, a decorated Vatharan commander, had died defending a colony from raiders. Everyone expected her to fade away, as was tradition, as was biology. But Evelyn had done something unprecedented. She'd survived. Felix had been working as a maintenance technician on the orbital station above Vathara Prime. When they first met, it wasn't romantic. He'd been elbow deep in a malfunctioning atmospheric regulator, cursing in 3 languages. When she'd appeared in the corridor, "You're the human," she'd said, her voice carrying harmonics that human ears weren't quite designed to process. It made his teeth ache pleasantly. "Guilty," Felix had replied, not looking up. "You're the widow everyone whispers about." He'd regretted the words immediately, but Evelyn had laughed a sound like crystal chimes in a storm. "They whisper because I refuse to die." Very inconvenient for their cultural narratives, that had been the beginning. Over the following months, they'd developed an unlikely friendship. Felix would fix things. Evelyn would watch and ask questions about human engineering philosophy. "You build things to break," she'd observed once. "Then you fix them." Vathara build things to last forever. "Nothing lasts forever," Felix had countered. "That's the point. You adapt, you repair, you rebuild. Permanence is just prolonged denial." She'd tilted her head, her opalescent eyes studying him with new intensity. "Is that why humans keep going? Even when logic suggests surrender?" Pretty much. Their friendship had deepened into something neither had anticipated. Felix learned that Evelyn's neurological bond with her late husband hadn't disappeared, it had transformed. The connection remained like a phantom limb, but she'd learned to live with the ache. She'd become something unprecedented in Vatharan biology, a widow who chose life. Felix had shared his own losses, a sister to a colony plague, parents in the resource wars, a fiancé who'd decided Earth was safer than the frontier. "We're all kind of broken," he'd said one night, sharing recycled whiskey under artificial stars. "The trick is figuring out what shape you want your broken pieces to take." When Felix had asked her to marry him human style, with a ring he'd fabricated himself from salvaged starship alloy, the request had rippled across interstellar networks. Xenobiologists declared it impossible. The Vatharan neural bond couldn't be replicated with another species. She would be binding herself to someone she could never truly connect with on a biological level. Cultural anthropologists called it a fascinating experiment. Religious leaders from 12 worlds called it blasphemy. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. That's how they ended up in the chambers, facing a semicircle of alien dignitaries who represented the galactic establishment. The Archon, a being of pure energy contained in a crystalline lattice, spoke first. "Felix Martinez of Earth, do you understand that this union is biologically incomplete? That Evelyn of the Vathara will never bond with you as she bonded with her late husband?" Felix squeezed Evelyn's hand. "Yeah, I understand. Then why pursue this?" The Archon's voice resonated with genuine confusion. "What purpose does an imperfect bond serve?" Felix looked at Evelyn, then back at the council. "Because perfect is overrated. You all keep talking about this bond like it's the only thing that matters. But I've seen humans survive things that should have killed them. I've seen us thrive in conditions that crushed species with better biology. You want to know our secret?" The chamber fell silent. "We adapt. We make do. We build families out of whoever's willing to stand beside us, blood-related or not, same species or not." Evelyn survived losing her bonded mate because she's got that same human stubbornness. She chose to keep living when her own biology said she should die. "That's not Vatharan. That's not any other species I've met out here." He turned to face the council fully. "That's human as hell." Evelyn stepped forward, her voice steady. "For 3 cycles, My people mourned me as if I were already dead. But this human saw me as alive. He didn't pity my incomplete bond. He offered me a new one, built not on neural pathways, but on choice, on effort, on waking up every day and deciding to care. She paused, her skin shimmering with emotion. My first husband was chosen by biology. Felix, I chose despite it. And that, honorable counsel, is a bond no species has categorized yet. The Archon dimmed and brightened their equivalent of contemplation. Finally, they spoke. The Council cannot sanction what it does not understand, but we acknowledge that humanity has repeatedly defied our understanding. Perhaps that is their gift to the galaxy. They didn't receive official approval, but they didn't receive condemnation either. The wedding happened on a human colony ship, officiated by a captain who'd married 17 different species combinations and had stopped being surprised by anything. Evelyn wore human white. Felix wore Vatheran ceremonial silver. They exchanged vows in 3 languages. When asked how it felt, Evelyn simply said, "Incomplete, imperfect, human, and more alive than I've been in 3 cycles." Felix added, "Turns out the galaxy's been so focused on building perfect bonds, they forgot about building real ones across the stars, in a universe that prized biological imperatives and ancient traditions. To people proved that the most human thing, the most worthy thing, was choosing connection, despite impossible odds, and perhaps, just perhaps, that was why humanity would always surprise the galaxy, because humans didn't ask if something was possible. They just said yes and figured it out."